What's up, folks? It's Big Boy here with RFC owner, president, and matchmaker Joe Valdez. We're here with NFE, and this is Real Talk. Folks, we're coming to you live from the RFC headquarters here in Tampa, sponsored to you in part by NFE. Great supplements, great vitamins. Joe's been on the product for a while. But more important, we want to talk to you about our November 31st card Joe's putting on, RFC 32 Mayhem. In the last RFC you did, Joe, you brought in this new caliber of fighter, these amateur fighters, these amateur champions, and man, what a show. Looks like you're doing it again. Amazing job. And bro, all I can say is, man, you're a beast. Luis Zakira, a local champ that we have here in Tampa, coming back, doing a second pro fight here in the RFC. What do we have in store for Luis?
Tough fight. Well, Lewis, you've seen him through the amateurs, amateur champion. He gets better every time. I thought he was a little tight, a little tense to his pro debut. Looking to see another Lewis here, but he has a tough fight, Justin Curlin, somebody we're all familiar with.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that kid too, man.
Wow, that is a fight, Joe. I have to hand it to you. First fight we talk about on the show. And, man, that sounds like a main event right there. I mean, Luis Zakira versus Justin Curlin. Justin Curlin fighting out of the Armory with Mike Vasquez. Had a great amateur career. Luis Zakira over here with Ralph Garcia in World Class Martial Arts. But Curlin's camp, one of the best camps in the state right now. He's got Rory Every, who's on the card as well. Roy's going to be fighting one of our locals he's from Newport Richey, I believe, Charles Kissinger. Right. That's a big fight for those two. Why'd you match make that one?
Charles has some experience. Rory's good. They just got to fight. These guys got to fight. It's good styles, make for a good fight. Rory's solid. That Team Armor, you got to love them, man. Them guys come to fight.
Mike
They're
always
almost
does.
Up for fight of the night every event.
Every event. Mike's doing a great job over there. Anybody that I know from the Daytona area, I'm definitely referring them over there. Another fight that I want to talk about that's going to be coming up, it's a huge fight that I think is Mike D'Angelo. All right, from D'Angelo Martial Arts in Fort Myers. Kid had almost a spotless amateur career. It's now time for him to go pro. Last weekend in Crystal River, they were there, Joe, and I seen the kid in the parking lot, and he was shadowboxing. Man, he's programmed, ready to go. What do we have in store for Mike?
He's focused. He looks good. Another kid, we watched all his amateur fights come up. Another tough fight for him. His pro debut is going to be tough. Matt Ferriola.
Oh, man,
who
Ferriola.
was fight of the night.
In the last RFC, got cut up by Tony Leone in RFC 31, won the decision. Now he's got to fight Mike D'Angelo on his second pro fight, and now this is going to be D'Angelo's pro debut. Yeah. Man, another one that could be the co-main event. A lot of great fighters on here. I noticed that you focused a little more on, you got a couple more of the locals on, like Alon Cruz. Alon Cruz training with Darkside. He's fighting. What do we got for Alon?
Isaac Figueroa.
Ooh, Isaac Figueroa. That's a good fight. That's one we were trying to make, or we had intentions of making a while back. But that's a good match, I think, up for him.
Alon's another hot prospect. Everybody's been talking about him since he's been a teenager around here. He's 2-0 now pro. Isaac's 2-1. I'm looking for that fight. That's a solid fight.
Yeah, listen, one of my earliest MMA memories was with Alon Cruz, and he was like maybe 17, 16 years old. I was training for my first pro fight. You came in and watched. They threw Alon on me, and I can remember hitting him so hard, trying to show off to the promoter, and Alon getting up so mad and just putting it on me. But the kid is talented. He's been a mixed martial artist for a while. He's going to be explosive.
He's almost that new breed. He started MMA.
He is the new breed.
I've been hearing about this kid since he's probably, 14 years old. Everybody's been telling me about him.
So we're looking forward to that fight with Alon Cruz. It's going to be a good one. Another guy that I want to talk about is a Gracie Tampa local here in Tampa. Dan Martinez had a real good amateur career, was an amateur champ. And, man, you got him on the card. And it's going to be exciting. He brings a huge crowd, and he might be the future for the RFC. Who do we got him against?
Well, it's not going to be easy. His pro debut is Kalen Holcomb, which is with Pete White down there out of the, I don't know how they do it, but he's out of the Armory Daytona, but Pete White's the boxing guy, I guess his coach. I don't know how they do it, but the undefeated amateur, that's exciting as hell.
Nice,
this kid brings it. Watch that fight. That could be up for fight of the night.
That's going to be a good one right there. I think one of my favorite fights on here is going to be an Ocala native. And last time this guy fought for us, he brought a hell of a crowd from Ocala. Dex Christmas. He's going to be fighting Abby Vasquez. And Abby Velasquez is he's doing pretty good right now, and this might be a tough fight for Dex, him not fighting for a while. What do you think about it?
You know, that can go either way. It's like the Ryan Keenan thing. What have you done these last couple of years? What have you done?
Right.
You know, has he took it off right to improve? You know, I know he's a wrestling coach. Dex is 2-0. Abby's been going regular.
Yeah, he's been an active fighter. Absolutely.
Active fighter. So what do you do?
That's true. I agree. I think that you know, with Dex's experience, hopefully he can come out and be that new breed of a fighter, because we've seen Dex kind of be more of like the wet blanket lay and pray type wrestler.
Yeah, that was the knock on him. But he did, to be fair, he fought injured.
Yeah.
And didn't tell nobody,
Tough
went through a
kid.
fight, fought injured. He was, 10-1 as an amateur?
Amazing
He has
amateur
an
record.
amateur background, too.
I can remember seeing Dex fight in the amateurs when the amateurs first started. So Dex has definitely got tons of potential. He's got tons of experience, and that is also going to be
Homegrown Ocala guy. Them guys are always strong
huge
as
crowds.
nail, strong.
Absolutely. Listen, another one that is big, and a guy that we had in the RFC that we were shooting big things we were looking for is Ronnie the Pit Phillips. We've got him fighting one of our guys here, kind of a veteran from Tampa, Alonzo Roan. Alonzo's coming off of a loss. Ronnie's coming off of a loss as well. So this is a good chance for both these 205ers to prove their spot in the RFC, Joe. Is that your intentions?
And just for the record, Big Boy pushed for that fight.
I did
I'm going
push.
to give you credit on that one. You pushed for that fight. You've been pushing for
You know-
it. And that's, you know, both these guys, they're at a crossroads. Ronnie was supposed to be the next big superstar. He lost to Joe Johnson. Everybody was shocked. So Alonzo's a veteran. He's been around. He's coming down to 205. Sometimes he fought at heavyweight. It's a good fight.
So is it safe for me to say that if Ronnie the Pit Phillips defeats Alonzo Roan, that we might see a Sean Hollis-Ronnie Phillips rematch soon?
It's coming. It's coming. I think
put-
Sean wants to get one more.
I'm
in
pushing
there, but
for you,
it's coming.
Sean. So that's a great fight. Mike Morris is making his return back to to the cage. Mike Morris was a great fighter. He fought way back in the day with the CFC. He was a team trauma guy, explosive as hell fighter. Tampa firefighter, trains here with Team Darkside all day. The guy's got a drive and a will like I've never seen. What do we got in store for Mike?
Well, Mike's been off for a few years, but, you know, Mike has a Muay Thai background. This kid is good. Then again, what's the 4 years going to do to him? Well, he's fighting somebody who's very experienced, James Wynn.
Ooh, James
Wynn has, about 20 fights.
Big vet right
You know?
there.
Yeah.
That's good. So Mike's going to have to step up on this fight. I've seen the kid in the gym. I've seen him training. I know where he's at. I at least see him twice a week, and I have a lot of good hopes for Mike. And he's always been one of my more exciting fighters. So that's going to be an amazing fight. Main event time. All right, we did Rumble and Thunder, which was my event. You know I'm going to shout it out. Joe's probably like, Big Boy gets his plug. But when you came to Rumble and Thunder last weekend, you had the Axeman with you, Brad Taylor. All right, Brad is coming off of a loss right now, I believe, but he's such an amazing fighter. He had 30 amateur fights. He's one of my favorite guys. Not only is he one of my favorite fighters, but he's also one of my favorite guys around. And you've got him up against Cesar Rizzo, the Hurricane. Listen, looks like it's America versus Cuba, Joe. Are we going to have to fight here? Because I know you're Cuban, I'm American. It's going to be a night where we're going to be standing on different sides of the room that night, aren't we?
Give me my bat.
Oh, Lord. But it's an amazing fight. You're looking to main event Brad Taylor. He brings a great crowd. He's an A&E reality TV show star.
And the real country boy.
Real country boy. And the kid is always ready to fight no matter when you call him. What do you think is going to happen that night,
Yeah,
Joe?
but that's been some of his issues. Always ready to fight, almost like in the amateurs. He had, 30-something plus amateur fights, taking fights last minute. His last fight, he took somebody at 185 right after he fought in RFC. He never went into a fight camp. Believe it or not, this kid was fighting them amateurs 30-some fights, and he didn't even have a fight team. He was jumping around in garages, doing everything. This is the first time he finally called me up and said he's taking this sport serious. He wants to be a full-time fighter, make it to the top. He has a solid fight camp. They even shipped him out to, I think where's it at? Ben Henderson's camp. He's going up there.
Nice.
Because he knows the guy in front of him is no joke. International fighter. Cesar Rizzo, pro boxer, kickboxer, and 3-0 at MMA. and international overseas. Who knows if there's more fights in there that we don't know about.
Wow.
It's been around.
That's going to be a tough fight there. Good matchup for Brad. Brad always surprises me. Even with the Bahari fight, I didn't think it was going to go like that. But Brad, that's what made me a fan of the Axeman. And I think that main event's going to be amazing.
Well, scary thing about Brad going as far as he did, just
in the backyard,
and
right?
Without the technical skills and nothing like that. Think about that. Seriously,
you're right.
What's going to happen when this guy really gets in shape? First time he's ever coming at 170. I think Brad was fighting from 205, 185 pounds.
Yeah, he fought Jess Emery at 205 once, and he had a couple of heavyweight fights. So this kid's been up and down the weight class.
He should be at 170. That's his weight class.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great main event. All in all, recap of the card I think is going to be awesome, Joe. We're looking to go November 21st, RFC 32 Mayhem. These fighters are going to be pumped and ready to go. I know we got kind of a busy month in November for MMA, but you cannot turn down the #1 and oldest MMA promotion in the state of Florida, Real Fighting Championships. I'm Big Boy here with my man, the phenom, the matchmaker, the man who taught me everything I know, well, almost everything.
Watch that.
Joe Valdez. You guys are watching Real Talk, and we will see you November 21st. NFE sponsors it. Folks, get out there right now. Joe uses the supplement. I use the supplement. All of our fighters do. The stuff really works. Folks, RFC 32 Mayhem, November 21st. We'll see you there. This is Alon Cruz, one of the RFC's favorite fighters, one of my favorite fighters. He's a local legend around here. He's been training since he was about 16 years old, if I'm not wrong. Sparring with guys like me in my heydays, other guys. I mean, this kid's been around the block. He is your mixed martial artist. And he's going to be fighting a tough opponent coming up, Isaac Figueroa.
Yes, sir.
You just actually fought recently in Georgia and had a win up there. So now you're coming back. This is going to be your third pro fight. And you got a tough guy, Isaac Figueroa. That's one of Jamie Harrison's guys, correct?
Out of Jacksonville.
What do you know about him, Alon?
He fought one of my former training partners, Billy Corantillo, and I know Billy's tough. You know, I think he submitted him in the second round. But I know I was there, cage side, watching the fight, and
it was an exciting fight.
That kid was game to fight. So
he's game. He brings it.
That makes me more excited that he's ready to fight.
Nice.
So I'm ready to go in there and scrap it up a little bit.
Nice. Now, Alon, I know you've got to be one of the most dedicated MMA fighters that I know. You train 7 days a week. I'll even go as far as that because you're always working. What kind of dedication and what do you do to change your life to put yourself in that kind of mentality? I mean, how do you do it, bro?
Besides eating sushi.
Yeah, besides eating sushi, I think I sacrifice a lot of things, as opposed to people wanting to go out and drink and, because you get hit up for parties and stuff all the time, but, I know I need to rest for the next training session, and this is what I'm trying to do as a living and as a career. So if I'm slacking off in an area or I take a day off, I'm making the road a lot longer than when I could be.
Absolutely.
He's doing it right. He works a lot. He's always working out. He's living a clean life. He's doing it right.
Yeah,
if you want to make it to the top, you got to sacrifice.
I know. I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but you know what? I'm proud of Alon. I've known Alon for a long time. I've seen him since he was a kid. I've known him. I don't even know how many years. I remember when he was just a white belt and a gi. And now the kid is an amazing mixed martial artist.
Man, you're even starting to get facial.
Yeah,
you shaving now?
I know. Well,
He's
I work in
growing
public,
up.
so they make me
He's
shave
growing
every
up,
day.
man.
So
Listen,
look at him. Even his body's changing.
I'm telling you that I want to nickname him Cruise Control, but we'll let you guys figure that out. Alon Cruise Control right here. But Alon, I want to talk to you a little bit about this next card we have coming up in the RFC. It's RFC 32 Mayhem. There's a fighter on there that you've got some history with. Justin Curlin. He's going to be fighting Luis Zakira.
Yes.
Justin, you fought him in the amateurs, and your teammate Devin fought him in the pros. And you kind of know Luis. You've seen him a little bit too. What do you think about that fight? That's a main event fight, ain't it?
Man, that could definitely be a co-main or main event. Because the thing about Curlin is he's a very technical fighter, but he likes to brawl it out as well. And if you saw Luis' last fight, I mean that was a scrap.
Yeah.
So it just Luis needs to train hard, and I know Justin's always training hard. That was definitely one of my toughest fights I've ever had. So it'll be a definitely exciting fight. I don't see that fight being subpar to anything.
Could be fight of the night.
It could be fight of the night for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. This is an amazing card we have. These are these new breed of fighters. Like we have Alon here. But we have some veterans that are coming back. We have some guys that have been training for a while. A guy that I want to talk to you about, Alon, he's training with you guys at the Team Dark Side, is Mike Morris. Mike Morris is a veteran. I talked about that a little while ago. I think was his last fight was the Carapellucci loss, or I think it was, right? And now he's coming back to fight.
Had to be about 4 or 5 years ago. Mike was back old school when there was no
Right.
amateurs around.
Right. Tommy, you
But he
trained
has
with
a
Tommy.
Muay Thai background.
No, he
If
does.
I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, he's even
trained
fought in
Muay-
Thailand
before.
before.
He trained under Master Yad.
And listen, the guy's drive is
Yeah.
as well as yours. I mean, he trains with you guys. He's a Hillsborough County
Full-time
firefighter
fireman.
during the day, and he's a fighter at night. This guy's got heart that you cannot believe. And he's fighting another tough guy. Joe Match made this one for Mike. And man, listen, it's gonna be big for him. What do you think for Mike in his return?
You know who he's fighting? James Wynn. I don't know if you know him. That was old school too. He fought for us back in 08. Guy has tons of experience, probably like 20 fights.
Okay.
Took it serious. He's a coach now. He's with Gracie Barra in Kissimmee.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah,
Tough
been
score.
around.
I don't know much about James Wynn, but it's gonna be a tough fight. That's all I know. Mike, I don't think I've ever been hit hard with mitts. I'm holding mitts and pads, and he hits through the body steel
Tough, yeah.
with body shots. He hits so hard. I've never been hit that hard before.
Nice. That's a
You
lot.
know, and he's super strong. I mean, the kid's legs are, as big as my abdomen. So
He's a beast,
he's,
man.
he's gonna be a tough fight. If he goes in there and he's mentally there, 100%, he'll be ready to go. I'm ready for him.
He has
to see
a
him
big
fight.
crowd coming.
Yeah,
I mean, the
big
firefighters are calling.
yeah.
They're buying tables. They're every
EMTs.
day. Everybody's calling about this kid.
Hey, I like Mike Morris. Listen, Mike's been around for a while. I've researched him. He came from one of the original camps that I used to mess with. Anybody that comes from Ocala, we know
Ooh,
is
you're
tough.
banging.
They're
banging.
coming to fight. They're coming to bring it, and I'm looking forward to that as well. One last thing I want to talk about is the main event that we mentioned earlier. We got Brad the Axeman Taylor fighting Cesar Rizzo. Big fight right there. Brad Taylor's coming out of here from a great amateur record. Had like 30 fights in the amateur. But he was a backyard fighter, and now he's finally with a fight team, a fight camp, and he's making his third pro fight. And man, what do you think about that?
Finally coming to 170 where he should be. He was fighting
okay.
185, 205, taking fights whenever, any weight. Finally, for the first time, coming to 170.
Wow. I mean, he looks pretty technical, for a fighter, especially when I saw him fight at the RFC. That was his first fight, his first pro
That was
fight.
his first or
Second
second
pro
pro
Second
fight.
pro fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jay Bahari, he trained with us for a while. We knew him. I didn't think
Jay
that was
has
going to happen.
a lot of experience.
I didn't think that was going to happen like that, and Brad surprised me. So
Brad's really technical from what I saw, and he's pretty relaxed in there, and obviously that tested his experience. I mean, he's had a lot of fights, so
yes,
And the country boy just loves to fight. He loves to, but that's hurt him in the past. Me and him have conversations over and over. Hurts him in the past. One of them guys, what, there's a fight tomorrow, Joe? Somebody send me, man. He loves it. But
true
if
fighter.
you try, but you gotta, if you're professional, there's a
be
way to
smart
do
about
it too if you're trying to make it to the top.
listen, RFC 32 is going to be probably better than any ever. Joe, every time you do an RFC,
Well, we say this
I
all
can
the
never
time.
think that it's going to be better. But man, listen, only thing I can say is if one of these guys can rile up Shaq to come, it would be better than the last one. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But folks, listen, we brought our man Alon Cruz in.
I heard the stars come out when he fights.
Hey, they might do it. How
Marcus
about those
Jones-
sponsors? You
Marcus
got,
Jones will be there.
got any sponsors you want to thank, Alon?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to thank Channelside Auto Mall with Kevin Medeiros. Anytime I take my car there, that's definitely
Kevin,
place
the
to
man.
Kev,
You
yep,
want to
I
buy
got a car from him
go
too.
Go see Kevin. You want to buy a car.
The Athletic Studio, Matt Zelansky. They keep there's a few guys on the team that go there and they get our conditioning up to top notch.
And Matt's a trainer that's known you for your entire career, right? Am I right?
He's been there long. He was at our previous school before I even got there. Dr. Doug at Pro Health.
Same as Doug, been there the whole
Doug,
time.
Doug,
I've known Doug years ago. He's
Hey,
been around the fight game
listen,
for years.
Doug came in there into my locker room, my first pro fight, and he says, "Big boy, everybody I've adjusted before their fight has won their fight. And guess what? I went and won, and then I've never had him adjust me before, so I haven't won since. So Dr. Doug works, you guys.
Yeah, Dr. Doug's legit, and it's Pro Health, and as well as DiMaggio's. That's Amore. They just opened up a restaurant, or they're opening it in Zephyr Hills, Anna Roman and her husband, they've been a huge sponsor for our team, and they've helped out a lot. We definitely want to be able to do a lot of things that, you know, we've been able to do, you know, in our careers. And as well as the Florida Knee and Orthopedic Centers, Laura Weidman, she's helped us out a lot as well.
Listen, folks, the sponsors are part of these guys' lives. They support them in their careers going up. You know, I've seen this kid right here come from 16-year-old working at Publix. I think he still works at Publix.
I do.
And he's still in mixed martial arts. He's
me.
there. He's here at training every day. More heart and soul than anything I've ever put into it. The promoters like this are putting guys on their card. It makes for great, great cards. Listen, folks, RFC 32, November the 21st. You don't want to miss it. Cruise Control will be fighting. NFE will be there, and so will we. We'll see you guys there.
NFE.
Perfect. Done. What's up, folks? It's Big Boy here with Joe Valdez. You're watching Real Talk, and we've got a brand new segment for all of you out there. We're calling it the Amateur Scouting Report. Joe, we've picked a couple fighters, 6, 3 you've picked, 3 that I've picked, that are amateur fighters that have made their way up through the ranks and that we have our eyes on for going pro or even offering that fighter a pro contract. Joe, the past couple weeks we've been to a few different amateur shows. We've been out to Crystal River. We've been to Largo. You were at Lakeland about a month ago. There's a lot of great amateur fighters that we have prospected and that you've given me a list of names. The first one that I want to talk about is Gracie Tampa, Jeremy Davis. Last week, Jeremy Davis fought in the FCF and, man, brought home the win. What do you think about Jeremy Davis and his future in pro mixed martial arts?
Bright future. Jeremy has a bright future, and he's coming back. He looked good the other day, coming off a tough fight he had with Tony Leone. But he came back. He did what he had to. I believe he won in the first round. He looked sharp.
Sharp, nice. Jeremy Davis is a nice 155-pound fighter. Would make an amazing stock to our 155-pound pool in the RFC. And we look forward to working with Jeremy in the future, hopefully. Another one that you gave me his name, and this is Joe's names that he gave me, Tony Murphy.
There's so many of them, big boy. There's so many of them. We're just going with
the top 3 that we've seen the past couple weeks, and the ones that are promoting themselves, fighting, and being that professional fighter. That's the way they conduct themselves at weigh-ins.
These guys should be close. Everything's timing, but they should be close to go pro probably next year.
Your next name that you gave me is T-Murph, Tony Murphy. He fought this weekend defending his title at the FCF. Explosive kid, great crowd, getting some good training in with Hobson Moore over there now. But listen, I'm ready to see him in the RFC. What do you think?
Oh, Tony should, he'll definitely go pro next year. Been watching him for a while. He went through a rough spell there, but it looks like he's back.
Yeah, Tony's
looks like
tough.
He's back. He's getting more technical. We always knew the kid was tough as hell.
Yeah, he's very tough.
You know, now he's learning how to fight. He's putting it together in there. He's coming around. He looks good.
Yeah, T. Murph is always one of my favorite fighters. He works hard, trains hard. Another one that we have been scouting for probably the longest, 2 years, is Matt Frivola from Gracie Tampa South. They call him the Steamroller. And he fought this weekend in the FCF. You saw him fight too, an explosive fighter. Ready to see this kid go pro. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I believe he's going pro this year, I believe.
Yeah, he's a tough kid.
End of the year, he's going pro. Tony's one of the top 155-pounders around. He's amateurs, definitely.
And Matt Frivola, Tony fought Matt Frivola in amateur, and Matt Frivola beat him. And now we got Leone in the RFC and Frivola ready to go pro. So that could be a battle one day too. So 3 top prospects right now for we got Jeremy Davis, Tony Murphy, Matt Frivola. Now I'm going to give you my 3 prospects, the 3 guys that I've seen the most of, the guys that I'm most impressed by. We went to Crystal River a couple weeks ago where Fighterpreneur did a show. And a guy that I want to talk about is a guy that you signed, sparring partner, Luis Akira's, Blake Smith. Blake Smith is from World Class Martial Arts. He won a 155-pound Florida State Fighterpreneur title last weekend. And, man, the kid's awesome. And I'm ready to see him in there too, Joe.
Blake looked good. Blake's always telling me to come watch his fight. He's getting ready. He looked good. He looked pro the other night. The way he was calm, he was on his back, his transitions. He was calm. He never panicked. He looks good. Ralph and Ivan doing a good job with him. That kid looks better every fight. He makes a big difference.
He does.
Some guys can fight once every 6 months and you don't see much of a change in them. This kid's fighting, you see a change in him every time. I think he's going pro next year at the beginning of the year sometime.
Yeah, he's got some great coaches over there at World Class Martial Arts. He's
Coach
got
Cliff.
Coach Cliff. He's got Ralph Garcia and Ivan DeValge. Ivan DeValge, we know, is an amazing fighter. Another fighter that I want to talk about, Joe, that you have been trying to get you to watch him fight. I know things come up and we don't get to see him fight sometimes, but man, this kid, Lorenzo Hunt, I've seen him fight twice now. All right, he knocked out John Lewis in the last fight at the AFC. But man, this kid is explosive, and I feel like he has no business in the amateurs anymore. He needs to go pro. You haven't had the chance to see him yet, but Joe, everything that I can do to tell you, this kid, Lorenzo Hunt, is ready to go pro, and he brings what we like to see to the cage, a rumble. So that's going to be one of my guys that hopefully we're going to get to see pro. But the last one that
When's he fight next?
Oh, I believe he's fighting November the 15th for Hunter Winter in Gainesville. I believe he's fighting Byron McIntyre, but not sure on that yet. I'm not 100% positive that fight's going down, but if not, we're going to try to
watch this kid. I've been hearing a lot about him.
Very tough kid. Maybe I'll send you the link to his little YouTube highlights. My last one that I want to talk about was a kid that surprised me at the AFC in the last AFC against Maurice Graham. And he also surprised me in Crystal River against Sean Brown. Sean Brown was one of Sean Vaughn's guy. And it was Stefan's kid, Bill Swift, Dollar Bill Swift. Came in there. He's got 2 belts now, 170 pounds, submitted his last 2 opponents, training all over the place with Fabio in Orlando, with Stefan in Crystal River. I've even heard he's been over here to Tampa. Another 170er that we can add to the pool in the RFC. You saw him last weekend. What do you think?
He looked good. I got the point, too, when he was coming out of the cage. He pointed at me. So that means soon.
Yeah, nice.
He looked good. Solid. He looked good. He's going to have good Muay Thai with Stefan. Then he's getting his BJJ in with Fabio.
Absolutely.
He looked good.
Absolutely. So, folks, this is a little recap on the 6 amateur fighters that Joe and I feel are the top prospects right now. Again, there's a list of many more. I can keep going all day long. Chris Pope, Stefan Reese, Chris Oyola. There's a lot of guys that have been fighting with us for a long time. But the top prospects right now, we got Jeremy Davis, Tony Murphy, Matt Frivola, Blake Smith, Lorenzo Hunt, and Bill Swift. So listen up, fighters. If you hear your name just now, we're watching you. But listen, folks, it's Big Boy with Joe Valdez. You're watching our new segment, Amateur Top Prospects. That's it.